Yo, 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 and welcome to a very special episode of Across the Hobby, where my job this show is to look at and review all of the biggest items that are ending at Heritage coming up this weekend. Today is January 27th as I record this. It is 11:15 a.m. Mountain Time, and the Heritage auction ends here just coming up in the next 3 to 4 days. If you don't already know, Heritage auctions typically ends over the course of a couple days, and that's exactly what's happening this time. Guys, this auction is huge. It's crazy. This is my favorite kind of show to do because it allows me to dive in a little bit deeper in depth on the whole of the auction, rather than to stay just into some of the higher end cards that are offered by each auction. We're going to try to look at 100 cards during this hour and a half to 2 hours. I think that you'll enjoy it. If you're a card person and you have an interest in learning more about cards, seeing which big cards are selling, not just big cards, but which big items are selling, and even down into the lower dollar stuff, I think that this is a really great show for you. My history is I worked at a card shop for about 7 years. I flipped my way to buying my house, to paying for both my undergraduate and master's degrees, and I've worked in the hobby producing a basketball card magazine, the Basketball Card Fanatic magazine, as well as basketball card podcasts. I worked for PWCC. I've been an expert witness at trial for large entities in the sports card business, and I've worked for almost all of the major auction houses in the auction or in the space at some point. And so I love doing these types of shows. I love buying and selling cards. I've sold millions of cards, millions of dollars of cards. I bought and sold hundreds of collections, and I love the hobby. I do. I love it. I do this show and have started doing more of this long form YouTube stuff because I genuinely really like sharing the things that I've learned over the years. I'm in my mid 40s, and I just love the hobby, guys. I do. Dad of four, so I'm a teacher and somebody who likes to walk people through the things that I know. But I legitimately have many tens of thousands of hours in the hobby and close to 40 years now of being a collector. I'm not one of the weird people who never left. So with that little bit of background, let's dive in and let's look at this auction. And again, I think that you guys are going to really enjoy this. So Heritage Auctions, if you haven't been to the website before, it's a great website, ha.com. ha.com. You go there, start there. You got to get registered. If you haven't gotten registered already, please do. It's a super easy platform, but you do have to get registered. So if you come in here and you click on auctions, there's several ways to get there. Sometimes I just search like Michael Jordan and then I click to the auction that way. But let's go this more official way. Coming through the auctions, when you click on the auction calendar, when you scroll down, you'll see this one right here that says Winter Sports Card, Dallas, Texas, January 30th through the 31st, and it has the number on it. So if we click on this and we click Browse Auction, we have all of these items that are for sale. Now the default that I usually get is this, it's like the older the item, the first it comes up. This is not the view that we're gonna go with though. Instead of going with best match, we're gonna go with highest first. We're gonna look at the highest dollar items, and we're gonna spend more time on the high dollar items, but we're gonna fly through this, guys. We're gonna hit a lot of stuff. Some of the stories are gonna be more in depth, some of the more interesting ones. And I haven't done this perfectly, so I'll be sort of at this point, I'll be discovering some of these things with you, which I think is sort of fun. So the first card that we have that pops up is a huge basketball card that a lot of people think in our world think of as like a real grail. In 2006, just after Fleer, the rights to Fleer were purchased by Upper Deck. Upper Deck finally was able to take the thing that they had that was the most valuable, which was the ability to have Michael Jordan sign their cards, and have Michael Jordan sign his most iconic card. And that's what you're looking at here. Of course, the 1986 Fleer is the most iconic basketball card ever. When I did the Iconic 100, which I administered for PWCC back years ago, it's been 4 years ago now, believe it or not, since the last time we did it. We took voting from a ton of different people. The number 3 card was the Wagner, and the number 2 card, believe it or not, was the 86 Fleer Jordan. It is easily the most iconic basketball card of all time, and I believe it always will be. The fact that he was able to sign just 23 copies of this as a buyback is so interesting to collectors, because collectors love autographs. They love pack inserted cards. And there's only a very few number of these that were ever pack inserted. They were pack inserted because they were redemptions were inserted, and the people who pulled those redemptions were then able to send those to Upper Deck and then have those fulfilled. And over the years, these have just become some of the absolute grails of our space. I would personally love this card. There's a big movement right now for autographed in-person autograph cards, and I love them. I love in-person autograph cards on iconic cards especially. But the thing that is clear is that a lot of people are trying to get Jordan to sign a lot of different things and offering him a lot of money to sign a lot of different things. I don't know how that number is going to increase as the years go on. But what I do know is there's only one original buyback from 86 Fleer, and you're looking at it. What makes this one special, and I'm just going to be real here, I noticed two things when I look at this particular copy. The first thing that I notice is that the card doesn't have a grade, and that's not great. You would like to see this card have a grade. It's really off-center top to bottom, though, and that might put it at like sort of a starting point of like a 6 or a 7, or like an OC mark. That sort of thing is not what a lot of people want to see. They want to see high grades. Maybe that's the reason why the person who got it graded elected to have the grade assessed as an authentic. I'm not sure. But the thing that that is a thing, and it's worth noting. The thing about, to me, though, that I would say that I really love about this example, because that doesn't bother me personally. The authentic grade doesn't really bother me. What the number one thing is to me is that it is from the pack. I don't look at this as like an autographed Jordan 86 Fleer, like one that somebody got Jordan to sign at a golf course a couple years. I think of this as like a great chase that is also those things, a great chase that came out of a pack. And that is different. It wasn't about somebody getting his autograph. It was about getting the card out of the pack. As a high-end collector, that is what is appealing to me. And the fact, and sorry, I haven't gotten to point number 2 yet. And the fact, point number 2, that the autograph is as blue as this one is. In fact, I should have clicked on this a long time ago. Forgive me for that. As we click on this and look at it, you just see how blue that is. This is something I highlighted in a short video that I tried to do, or that I did on my Instagram. If you didn't see it, I posted a few days ago, and it's been really popular. I think last I looked, it's got like 30-something thousand views. If you come in here to Heritage and you click on, just go to the main account here and you type in Michael Jordan. Check this out, guys. Go Michael Jordan buyback, 1986. I think we're going to see one in sold items. I think we will. There it is. And when we click on that, make it big. The thing that is just, it's really important to understand, and this matters differing amount for collectors, but for a lot of collectors, it's increasingly really important, really like crucial. Note how dark this autograph has gotten. Some people think that this autograph must have started out as black, but I'm going to tell you, it did not. This autograph started out like this one, blue. This autograph has seen time in the light, and this one has seen far less time in the light. He signed all 23 copies in blue, but blue ink will darken and turn black. Now, despite that, this copy in a down market, and this is where you have to triangulate things. This card in a down market, but in 8.5, it does have a BGS 8.5 grade. It sold for 200 and something thousand. Sorry, let me figure out exactly. Oh, you know what? I'm not signed in currently into Heritage, so I can't see. But we have an easy way to do that. We have Card Ladder, and so we'll type in here, Michael Jordan 1986 Fleer buyback. And when we do that, we will get the, here it is. It sold for 264,000. Shout out to the tools that we use for the show. Card Ladder is our sales history tool, provides tons of data that I'm so grateful for. And then GemRate is our pop count tool. And bolt with these two tools, we can really dive in deep on this show. So now you can see that one's really blue, and it is currently at 480. It's almost $600,000 right now with the buyer's premium. Again, in a much hotter market than this one was when it sold for $264,000 with a darker autograph button in 8.5 grade. So there's lots of variables. Whenever we're comparing pieces like this, it's a little bit like comparing pieces of artwork. There's lots of variables. Remember when you're in your algebra classes, you learn about like solving for one variable is pretty easy, but it's when you have multiple variables that things can get really tricky. And then you just have to keep in mind as you do all of that, that all pricing information is difficult to assess because it happens at different times. Not everything that comes across in the pricing information was even necessarily real. Some transactions didn't even actually happen that then get passed on into the pricing history. And that's sort of one of the dirty little secrets. So you have to take all of these things. It's really a lot of art combined with a lot of science, and then you put it together, and that's how you sort of can figure out what something is worth-ish. And this is what I've done over the course of the last 30 something years to get my collection to where it is today. This is a card that in my collection would be really beloved. And actually, it's not because it's a Jordan autographed 86 Fleer, although I would love to have a Jordan 86 Fleer. The reason I love this is because it's a buyback. It's the buyback. It's the buyback of all time. Okay, so that's it for what I think is the biggest card in the auction personally. And going forward, I will click the control button so I don't have to click back a couple of times. The next two biggest cards currently at auction, two of the other three that are already in the six figures, are the 1916, and forgive me, I do not know how to say that next one. Babe Ruth in his early days, from like 1916 to maybe like 1920s, there's a lot of these different brands, and they're all so rare. They're like super low population. And then there's this one from 1917. The 1916 and 1917, he's with the Red Sox. But that image right there is the one that people typically think of as like his rookie card. He has a card from 1914, and that's when he's in the minor leagues. And it's not as nice of an image, and it's really just one color on the card. This is really one color too. It's like black and white. But the one from 1914, there's two variations. There's a red and there's a blue. And they basically just use the color of the card stock as well as the color. And this sort of does the same thing, but it does it with gradient. You can see like there's different shade. Gradient might not be the right word. Different shades behind him. But as we look at this, actually look at the job that Heritage has done here, because I think they've done a really good job. 1916 says the name, says Ruth, says rookie. Okay. Number 151. Notice that they don't have the word rookie on the 1917. 1916 is thought of as the Ruth rookie. And that's why, to me, this is the card I would prefer. I don't know how much rarer. In fact, if you look at this SGC 5 right here, Collins McCarthy, which is a better known name than this Herpoisheimer, is the Collins McCarthy is the better known name. But this one's from 1916, right? 1916, 1917. So even though this is the higher grade and a rarer pop count, this one in a 1.5, one of just five PSA examples. Let's go look at the pop count here, because I think there might be some interesting data that we can glean from it. So it's currently at 180 plus buyer's premium. It's at 225,000. Actually, let's look at the card first. So you can see the background. You can see the print dots. I love Heritage does a fantastic job of letting us see the details. You can see the paper loss in the corner up here. You can see it over here too. This is normal. This is what you expect to see on cards that are this age for the most part. Card is obviously far from mint. You know what it is, though? It's a Babe Ruth rookie card. And there's a reason it's a 1.5. Let's look at the back. I love the back because we learned so much from the back. Herpoisheimer Boys Fashion Shop in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Okay, now the other thing that Heritage does that I love, and I do love this, is that I'm able to just click this link right here. And I'm able to see it's a pop one, and there's only 4 higher. See, I love seeing that. Card is exceptionally rare. Remember, it is a Babe Ruth rookie card, but there are other Babe Ruth rookies from 1916. This isn't the only one. If this is the only one, you're talking about a card that's millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's still tons of money, but he has more cards from 1916. And I'm going to show you how to look at that here in just a second. But before we do, I want to do this. So Ruth, there's the 1 and the 5 higher are 2 2s, 1, what is that, a 5 and 1 7. Can you imagine? That's incredible. Okay, let me teach you guys something that you probably have, that you may know or you may not know. If you come in here to research and you click on Pop Report, and then you just type in, actually, is it here? It might not be here. Babe Ruth. You just type in Babe Ruth, and it's going to sit here and it's going to think for a second. What it's going to show you when you look down is is the different things where he's in the Pop Report, and it's going to go chronologically. It's not perfect, by the way. There's some things that you can do in here where there's like, it's like baseball cards first, then basketball cards. The way it's ranked is a little bit different. But see, we have 1914, the Baltimore News, and then there's a team card with a Ruth in 1914 as well. Told you about those. Those are the red and the blue ones that I was telling you about at the beginning. Then there's this postcard in 1915, and then there's stubs and things like that. And then you get to 16. And when you get to 16, there are, you have to look over here and where it says cards. See, so for 1916, there are a bunch of them, right? Altoona Tribute, Famous Bar and Co., HB 801, the Globe Clothing. There's all these. Then there's the M101s. And then after you scroll down for not very far, you're done. So where's the one that we're looking at today? There it is, Herpelsheimer and Co. If you're interested to know how many 1916 Ruths there are, and I may do this for a reel in the next couple of days. I'm going to try. They take so long. I don't know if we'll have time. It would be really interesting to go and click on each of these 1916 links and see how many Ruth cards are made in 1916. Because remember, it's his first major league card. It's his first one. Everything after that is still amazing. Again, amazing, beloved, grail of grail type cards, but they're not 1916. They're not from the first year. So that's all we'll say about that one and the 1917. Okay, now we get to a card that I don't know as much about as I'd like to, and we're going to do a little bit of research on. This is the 2025 Chrome Shohei and Judge Dual Logoman card. It is numbered to 4, as we become sort of accustomed to seeing with some of these gold Logoman cards. It's number 2 of 4. It's currently at $105,000. And again, we're going to go to Card Ladder on this one to discover, and we're going to learn a few things. But we're also going to maybe use Beckett to see if we can figure out what some more context here. So Shohei, 2024 NL MVP. Aaron Judge, 2024 AL MVP. You might also notice right off that these logo men with a little ball and the gold around it, that it's all gold. It's usually red, white, and blue. Why is it gold? You can see it's game-worn MLB batter patch logo. You can see that. You can see right here it says game-worn MLB batter patch logo patch. So both of them say the same thing on either side. You get Shohei on the top and Judge on the bottom, and then you get the Topps logo. Now let's look at the back of the card. On the back of the card, we're going to learn a lot more, and I wish I could turn this. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I can turn this. Can I? Are you going to let me do it, Heritage? It'd be pretty cool if I could. Oh, cool. Look at that. Shout out to Heritage. That's fantastic, guys. That is so helpful. Thank you, Heritage Auctions. So look at this. Shohei, Judge, Dodgers, Yankees, 2024 MLB award winners. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the card, you see down here in the copyright, this is from 2025. It also might say it up above. I'm not sure. Okay. And then it says this, and this is key. To honor top performers, the gold MVP, the gold MLB batter logo patch is worn by players who won and then sort of gives us a list. League MVP, that's what both of these are. Cy Young or Rookie of the Year awards in previous season, marking them as among baseball's elite. Then you get these codes in here, okay, that tell us where they're from. Now, I'm going to go see if I can figure out how to look up these codes, and I will be right back. I hadn't done this in a little while, so forgive me. But it's super easy. You just like Google it real quick. I was stepped away for like 8 seconds, and I'm back now. So if you go to type MLB and go to hologram number right here, we're just going to type in. I'm going to move this over to the other screen to make it easier for me, but you'll see me type it in a second. See over here, this number. I want to make this real big so even I can see it with my blind eyes. So it's MLB, and then we're going to type in the letters. It says type in the letters first here on the website. So I'm going to enter the KV. I think that's right. And then 487671. I think that's a 7, although it's dark. Find out. Maybe I'm wrong. And I have to do the CAPTCHA. I'm not a robot. Let's see if I'm right or if I've gotten this wrong. I'm probably wrong. Let's see. Date. So swatch of game used jersey, hologram number KV 487641. Let me show you guys what this says. One thing that surprises me a little bit is it doesn't say his name. I thought it would do that. It doesn't. It just says originally authenticated with hologram code. So, and it's what it's saying here is this is a swatch of game used jersey. Well, I wonder if we come back. Let me try this original to see if this gives us any other information. We'll take a second for this to pull up here. And then after we do that, I will also do the secondary part of this, which is going to be this patch over here. But first, let's enter in this number. So MLB. So this is from the, again, this is from the code that we just, it was originally associated with this. So what's this original thing? There's the hologram number. Wait, a validation number. I don't know what that means. I didn't look it for a validation number. Is there something else on here that I should have typed in? Validation number. I don't know what that is. Huh. Well, code. It looks like maybe I have some more to learn about this before I try to show you guys what I know. Authenticate. Please fill out this field. Hologram. What is the validation code? Gosh, I don't know what that is. So I'm an idiot. It says validation code right here. So I went back to the hologram number. This is the one on the back of the card. And when you go there, it's saying, hey, this is the event was the Topps authenticated this in August of 2025. And then it says, but it was originally authenticated with this hologram and this validation code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these numbers and I'm going to come back here. And when I come back here, this is the bad thing is it does take a second to load up. It's going to load up and then I'm going to put in those two numbers. And I think what we're going to find is exactly like when this is from. So I've copied it. I'm going to delete this stuff that doesn't need to be here on the hologram number. I'm going to click I'm not a robot. Oh, but it's not asking for the validation code this time. There we go. Validation code GQS. I'm not a robot. Let's see what we learn. So we learn, oh, nice. So cool. We learn it's from Shohei. We learn what number he's wearing, what color the jersey was. We learn what type it is. We learned who they were playing, the Diamondbacks. We learned that it was used on May 20th, 2025, and we learn that it's an MLB gold silhouetted batter logo. Now, we will be able to do that exact same thing for the other side of it, the judge side. And what I would suggest you do, we could do it, but it would take a sec. What I would suggest you do is go look at what they accomplished on those. You know what? Let's do it. What the heck? That's why we do the shows like this. You guys don't want to do it. You want me to do it. So May 20th, 2025, Dodgers Diamondbacks. Let's put this in here and find out what Shohei did. Oops. Wouldn't it be cool if he like hit a home run this game or something? Probably not. They only scored 4 runs. Let's see what we can learn. I shouldn't have clicked ESPN. I should have clicked Baseball Reference. Total rookie mistake here for me. So the Dodgers, Shohei scored a run. He scored a run. He went 1 for 4. And that's why are they only showing a few players for the Dodgers? Why is it? Oh, it's like highlighting Muncy. Yamamoto pitched 7 innings. The Dodgers got the win. Shohei had 1 run and 1 hit. I don't know what his hit was, but there you go. And he wore it that game. Super cool. Let's see if we can learn anything for Judge that might be interesting. So again, we come back here, click on the card. All right, I'm going to get out of some of this stuff. I don't need to be in all of this. Get out of this, get out of this. Keep our tools open though. So 499. Bring this over here to make it easier for me. MLB, we're going to put in the letters first, which are, gosh, it's a little bit tough to see on this. KV 4997. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure what that says. 715, I think. I am not a robot, I promise. I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so I was able to figure out what. Oh my goodness, did I close it? I did close it. Sorry, guys. I was able to figure out that this wasn't a super special game for Judge. He went over 3 in the game. The Yankees lost 1-4. And of course, we know it's from 2025. And I was thinking, well, wait, should it be from 2025 or should it be from 2024? It's easy to sort of get lost in the data around these things, but we know that they're from 2024. And you know that just as soon as you look back at the front of the card, because this is Shohei and Judge with their gold logo. The reason they have the gold logo, man, and this is the point of this card, is that they won the MVP the prior season. So now we know what games they're from. We know they're verifiable from the MLB website. We know what they did in those games. Neither of them had anything crazy happen, but Shohei had a run and won the game. Judge lost the game and didn't have any runs, but still, it's a dual logoman from that game. So I think that's, you can say whatever you want to about Topps. They've knocked these out of the park, and there's a reason that they're selling for crazy money. The only other thing that I'll show you guys real quick is we go to Card Ladder. If you just type in Ohtani Judge and sort by highest, 6,000 items have sold. The single highest selling card ever of this pair was back in September when one of these cards sold. It's the redemption for the card that you're looking at. There's a 1 in 4 shot that this card right here, this redemption you're looking at, is the exact same card as the redemption for the card that we're looking at right now. It's absolutely huge. Huge. I love this, guys. July 31st, 2035. That means you basically had 10 years to open these boxes. We still have a lot of time, and we've only seen one sell publicly so far. So this will be the second one. And you guys already know it's going to be, well into the 6 figures. The question is, had you bought this for $198,000 back in September, how much would you have made or lost by waiting till now to sell this? And that's, I think, something that a lot of people will be watching on this auction. Meaning, should you redeem the card or not? So, okay, with that said, let us go back. It's been a little bit funny with me. Let's go back to the auction and sort by highest. And let's look at, let's keep going with the lists. We already have it. So we've only made it down to the 4th card. I've got to pick up the pace, and I will. The Joe Jackson from 1909, the American Caramel. It doesn't look like much if you don't know it. This is one of the most iconic Joe Jackson cards. And Joe Jackson is one of the most collected baseball players of all time. I hesitate to say that because Joe Jackson is iconic. He is beloved, but then there's these guys today that have hundreds of thousands of fans that are so collected. But throughout collecting's history, Joe Jackson is an indispensable name. There's Ruth and there's Mantle, but if you go before those guys, you get to Joe Jackson and the American Caramel, along with the Cracker Jack and a few other ones are certainly some of Jackson's best known cards. PSA 9 of the Kuzman rookie, the Ryan rookie. PSA 8 of the Roberto Clemente. Interesting, an 8 is $80,000. So that seems like a lot of money for an 8. It seems like one that is worth looking at population for. Looking up the population on cards like this, PSA's made it so easy. If you just go like this, PSA pop 1955. It's 55, right? Tops. Do that. Come here. Is it 55 or is it 56? I'm going crazy. It is 55. Okay. I thought it was. So you go to 55. I like 55 more than 56. It's got that really cool gradient. And you just go Roberto. You can see there's 123 eights. There's 3 higher, which means 8.5, and then there's 11 nines and a 10, and that's it, right? Putting this as one of the best 130, 140 copies of one of the more iconic baseball cards ever made. So anytime you see even like an 8 move, it's a pretty big deal. Then you get an 8 of the Jackie, another one of the cards that certainly made the iconic 100 list. Both of these are pretty high. If I remember right, the Jackie's in the 20s and the Clemente's in the 30s. Clemente's not thought of as much as Jackie is, but I would say all time this is a more iconic card than this is. But in the last 5-10 years, especially as Jackie's had a number of biographies and movies made after him, this has become known as really like one of the cards. If you look at this one, you'll note it's an old serial number in an old slab. This is an old serial number in a new slab. This is a card that was not regraded, but crossed. And the reason that we know that is because it starts with a 03. We don't know the date it was graded. PSA does not provide that level of detail for us, but we do know that this was graded a really long time ago. Okay, now here's a card that you're not probably used to seeing this high in the auction, but when it comes to Robin Yount, there's not a better card that you're going to find, or not a bigger card. Pop 6, Gem 10. Heritage, again, has done a tremendous job of telling us really the big story right here. I wonder how many times this has been graded. If you had to guess, just without even looking at it, how many times has the Robin Yount been graded? This is where Gem Rate is so helpful. If you click on the universal search tool and we type in, I wonder if we just put in Robin Yount, if it'll be the first one that pops up. Robin Yount, press enter. Nope. 1975. There it is. It's been graded almost 22,000 times, 21,528 times. That's a lot, guys. It's actually like a very highly graded card. The fact that of those 21,000, which aren't all PSA, only 15,000, the vast majority of them are, like, do the math with me here. If 15,000 of them have been graded and only 6 have been graded a PSA 10, you're looking at 1 in over 2,500 copies has been graded a 10. That is why a Robin Yount card can be worth this much, because it has a gem rate of 0. Frankly, even in a PSA 9, it's basically impossible. There's 278. Well, what's 278 into 15,000? That's like 1 in 60 copies. It's like a 1% mint rate. It's a 0% gem mint rate. And for somebody who's as well known as Yount is, again, that is why you see a $72,000 500 bid right now. And then you get down to the mantle. The mantle in a 4 is at 70 grand. 1932 caramel, U.S. caramel Ruth in an SGC 8, big money at $70,000. Then we get the Mickey Mouse set. I love stuff like this. Check the pops on cards like this, and you'll go, oh my goodness, some of this stuff is really rare. But what's really crazy about this one, guys, is this is actually the number 2 finest set on the PSA registry. Stuff like this is really interesting because you don't know where it's going to go. You just don't know. But where we see some Disney cards today selling for a lot that are really modern, I wonder if those people were to look, the people who were buying those types of cards, I wonder if they were to look back to cards like this that are almost 100 years old and see how rare they are. I wonder if they'd feel differently. One thing worth noting here, most auction houses do not do what Heritage does here, but I love that they do this. They provide a guide or an estimate on what they believe it'll sell for. Being a basketball card expert, sometimes I will look at their estimates on some really rare basketball cards and we'll know, I think they missed. I think they're high, or I think they're low. I think they're more likely to be low than high, but they are high from time to time. This set right here is currently the estimate's 250 grand. That's, after you add in the buyer's premium, that's about 3 times what this bid is at right now. So that one's definitely worth watching. Bart Starr, the 1957 Topps rookie, very iconic football card. Certainly when it comes to cards that, if we're going to call this vintage, certainly when it comes to vintage football cards, there are very few, and I mean very few, as iconic as that one. That's definitely a top 10 vintage football card in existence. If you're referring to everything pre-1980 is vintage. So, love to see that one. I love the image of Star there. It's awesome. Okay, now we get to a PSA 9. Oh, PSA 9 with 10 auto. I'll tell you why this one's interesting. We saw one of these sell not that long ago, and it sold for a lot. And this is the way you'll find it quick. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, 1980. And we're just going to put in auto. And when we do that, probably get us there. We'll see. You can find them not too expensive if they're not high grades. The story here, though, is that this is a very high grade copy. This card in a PSA 9 10 auto sold for $173 a little bit over 2 months ago. This was less than 3 months ago. Now today, this same card is here, PSA 9 10 auto, and the bid's only at $55,000. Same thing, great big blue autographs. Let's just make sure it's not the exact same card. Ends in 987, ends in something different than 987. So what's the pop on something like this? Well, in the past, as of, 10 years ago or something, you couldn't know. You wouldn't be able to just find out. But one of the brilliant moves that PSA made is they said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make it so you can see a pop report of the autographed cards. So watch this. If we go 1980 Topps basketball, this is so slick. If you guys haven't done this before, you've got to check it out. So if you do this and then you click on, so you have to click on the set. Oh, weird. This actually brought up a different thing that I don't know as well. Oh, this is the prices. Sorry. Let's go to the pop. Instead of click the pop button. I was a little lost there for a sec. And you see the PSA certified selection right here. That's just for all non-autograph cards, the set as it normally is. But when you see PSA DNA, you know when you click that, you're going to see just the autograph cards. Now, here's what's interesting. This set has fewer than 2,000 total autographs. There is no question which card in the set is the most graded, and it's by a mile. And as we do a find for Bird and we scroll down, we're going to see almost half of the cards in this set that have been autographed and graded are this one. I had a PSA 6 of this card autographed. The autograph wasn't graded, but it was probably a 10, and I loved it. I'm not a collector of things that you often see, and so I did move it, but I kept it for a long time because I really loved it. I think it's easily the most popular autograph like project you can put together. There's a lot of cards that you can get one autograph. There's not another project where you can get more than one autograph on a card that's more popular than this across the entire hobby. There really isn't. This is it. This is number one. And you can see people have done it a lot. Now the problem with this is this probably doesn't contain some issues where only one or two autographs are on there. You don't have to get all three autographs on there to be graded, and they're all sort of in this group. And it's hard to know how they separate out. The sense that I get is that the vast majority, all three guys have signed. So although this is 924 copies right now, $899 plus 10 plus 15, it's probably 850 of them or something have all three autographs or more. Here's the thing you've got to know. There's never been a 10 where they're all three graded. There very likely will never be a 10 where all three are graded, because a 10 is worth $600,000. And to damage that would be really tough. But what there is 15 copies that are PSA 9s with autograph. Now, within those 15, what we cannot see is the quality of the autograph. PSA, because of their design, and I've talked to members of their team, they know that this is poor and they know that people would like it. Through their poor design, we are unable to figure out how many of those 15 have 10 autographs, 9 autographs. And I can tell you, if we could know that, it could cause some of these cards to just massively explode. Will PSA ever be able to go back and figure out how to do that? I'm not sure. As it's been indicated to me, I don't know that they will be able to. I don't know that that's tracked as well as it could be. Or at least I don't know if they are willing to make the really seismic changes to their pop report that would be required. With all that said, I've gone into too much detail, again, as I always do. 15 copies of this card, PSA 9, 10. And that's a huge deal. And that's why the last one sold for $170 something thousand. And this one's sitting at $55,000. It's a little bit surprising. A mantle with in a 2 grade, a Koufax in a 9 with none higher. This is one of the things, this is how I would list it too. My guess is when we click on this, this 9 will actually have quite a few that are, let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. There's only 20 of these. This is not super, there's only 20 of these cards that have been graded a 9. Obviously not Koufax's rookie, but just an absolute huge card. Adam, learn to press the control button. Okay, I'm going to do it. Oh, a 1968 Venezuela. Ooh, I love this card. Whoa, this is a big one, guys. This is the first card of the auction that I didn't know was here that I'm so excited that we've just discovered. Okay, we got to click on this one and we got to talk about it. So in the 1960s, the Topps company cards were made in Venezuela, and they were made on a lot less awesome cardboard, okay? The cardboard is not super high quality, and the vast majority of these cards are beat to heck. But this card is a PSA 5, and although that's not an 8, 9, or 10, this is an ultra high-end copy of this card. In fact, of all of those that have been graded, and it's not a very big number, we're going to go look at it in a second, there are only 4 PSA 5s, and there's only one higher. So let's look at what let's look at what Heritage did here. If we click on the if we click on the pop report, we can see pop 4 one higher. When we click here, I'll bet you there's only like 30 of these that have ever been graded. Like this is one of the toughest sets ever. And again, this is a super iconic card. So if I come in here and I just type in Nolan, oh, look at that. There's more than one Nolan. Oh my goodness. It doesn't show up because it's got 2 names on it. I'm going to put in Kuz. There we are. 38 copies, just 38 copies have been graded, and only 1 is graded higher. So here's my question for you. Okay. Let's leave that up for a second. And then let's do this. Let's go here and go 1968 Topps Nolan Ryan. Oh, sorry. 1968 Topps Pop Report. Sorry, I got my mic in the way of my keyboard. I'm not always super fast. So when you click here, this is so interesting, guys. If you look in the main pop report, you're going to find something so interesting. Come on, PSA. I got to get PSA to sponsor my show just so I can get faster access into their pop reports. So if the PSA 10 of this card was to hit auction, it would be one of the biggest sales, literally, of all. Like, it would be absolutely crazy huge. It would probably be the biggest sale of the 1960s ever for baseball cards, I would guess. With that said, there are, close to 20,000 copies of this card that have been graded. 18, almost 19,000 copies of this card that have been graded. There are 69 9s and there is 110. Would you rather have one of those 69 9s, or would you rather have one of these 4 PSA 5s, with the only one that's higher being a 5.5, a lone 5.5? Remember, the Venezuela issue is so much rarer, like so much rarer, guys. And when you look at the back of the card, you can see the card's super similar to the regular card. Again, just made with poor quality cardboard, and obviously made in an area where they didn't have the ability to save these cards or preserve these cards in as good a condition. When was the last time that we saw anything like this hit auction? I remember the last time we saw like a 1 hit auction. That was a big time card. But if we do 1968 Venezuela, oh my goodness, Venezuela, I think that'll get us there. So we have 17 Venezuela sales ever. There's that one from 2025 that I was telling you about. That was a 1 that sold for 12,000. Then there was a 3 that had an MK qualifier on it. It sold for 18,000. What's the highest price that we've ever seen? It was a 4.5. Guys, this is the best copy of this card that we have ever seen sell publicly. And the last time that we saw one that sold in a grade that was even close to this was 10 years ago. Almost to the date. Actually, it is 10 years ago. On the date that this sells, I'll be able to say the following. 10 years ago today, a 4.5 of this same card sold for $20,400. Do you think in 10 years this card has grown in value? I bet it has grown massively in value. How much? We don't have any idea, and we'll find out. I think the bid's already significantly higher. Yeah, it's already at 45,000. But this is going to be one of the most interesting auctions to watch of the whole night. I'm serious. It absolutely is. Definitely watch this one along with me. I think it should be. I think it could be a lot of fun. Again, pop 4, only one higher. Big deal card. And still I haven't learned how to press the control button. Man, I'm so glad that we found that card. That's one that'll go on my top 10 posts for sure. And yeah, I love it. All right. Jordan in a BGS 8 is always a big deal. Look at the centering on this one. Centering of a 7.5 is what holds the card back. Oh my goodness. Is this my old copy? I shouldn't say my old copy. I helped someone else move one, but I had one where all of the subs were 9.5s and the centering was a 7.5. This seems like the same copy. It's really a great copy, guys. So here's the story on this card. Everybody knows that this card, look, I remember to press the control button. Everybody knows that the hardest part about this card is the centering. This card was massively, just like the other two Jordans from 1984, the centering is just abysmal. It is just awful. But because the card sat in a team bag for, I don't know, who knows how many years, nobody could really know. It was made in 1984, and who knows when it was cracked out. Sometime before this one was graded, 7 or 8 years ago. Everything else really stayed constant on the card. The edges, the corners, the surface, they're all fantastic. 9.5 is realistically the greatest grade you can basically hope for on this card. And so everything's exactly like you want it to be, except for the one part that the company got wrong. Now, you can see the card has a little bit of tilt to it. It's a little bit more wide down here and narrow up here. And if you look right here, it's a little bit more wide up here and narrow down here. It's very slight. It's not huge, but it's there. And, besides that centering and the fact that it's not quite spot on, it's basically flawless. It's exactly what you want it to be. So if you're not a centering snob, this is basically the best copy that you could hope for. Like, it's phenomenal. I really like this copy, and I don't even want to tell you what I helped sell the one for. This actually might be the same copy. It was a fraction of this price 7 or 8 years ago. So cool. Okay, a Clemente in Gem 10 from 1973 is a big deal. Check the pop on that. A Hornsby from that same Collins McCarthy set from 1917 that the Ruth is up. It's also an SGC5, just like the Ruth was. And then we get to the first big PSA DNA auto, maybe, of the night. I can't remember. Do we have another one? Maybe we did have one. We did have one other one. But this Jackie's just an absolutely huge piece. So from 1950 Bowman, you're talking about his second Bowman card and really his second year of cards. Some people will think, well, it's the third year because of the 1948 Leaf, but it's really been proven that the 1948 Leaf should have been called 1949 Leaf. So this is the second year of Jackie's cards. He's got a card in 49 in Bowman and in Leaf. He has some other things that are like regional issues, but not like main Topps or Bowman or Leaf issues. But 1949 gave us Leaf and Bowman, and then 1950 gives us an infinitely better image of Jackie than the year prior in Bowman, which is just like Jackie's face, and it's a great looking card. This card's just so much better looking. And in a 3, it is a huge deal. And an auto of a 9, it's fantastic. The autograph is exceptionally well preserved. And the reason that this card is what it is because the guy who opened the pack that had this card in it is the same guy who got the cards signed. That guy put together complete sets, spent basically his life figuring out how to get these guys to sign these cards. And then somewhere along the line, this collection then was given to Heritage, and Heritage is now selling it off. And when I first made a video of this back a couple months ago, it's called the Golden Age Collection. When I first put that video up, they had some of the biggest cards ever at auction. They had this incredible 1952 Topps mantle with like an original autograph on it, not the big sweeping sales mantle iconic signature, but his autograph before that. They had a Mikan autograph. It's one of the nicest Mikan autographs we've ever seen. This card is from that same collection. And what happened last time with the Golden Age collection is the biggest stuff really blew up at the end. I don't know if that will happen here. There's no way to know it, but it's worth watching. Okay, let's look at the Steph here. The Steph, really an interesting card, and this is one where gem rate's going to help us a lot. So if you go to gem rate and you type in 2009 Topps Stephen Curry, and you search that, you're going to find that there's 9,400 copies of his Topps card that have been graded, and like 370 of those are PSA 10s. Then there's the gold. Now remember, the gold is not, it's not like numbered to 50 or numbered to 25. It's numbered to 2009. And of those 2009, it looks like it has been graded about 1,009 times. So you could just say, well, about half of them have been graded. That's probably not technically true. Within these 1,009, there's certainly a lot of crosses. Maybe it's 800, maybe it's 900, maybe it's 700. I don't really know, but there's certainly been a lot of crosses. What is clear is this. This is a Pop 21 gem. And I'll tell you why that's really interesting. If you do the same thing here with Topps Steph Curry, and then you search for Chrome. So Chrome, there's 621 that have been graded, but there's 59 10s. Now that's not a big number. It's a really small number. It's a gem rate of 20% out of the 290 graded by PSA. Now with Beckett, it's a lot higher gem rate, almost 50%. But with PSA, you're talking about a gem rate of 20% on a base Chrome card. Compare that to a base Prism card today or something like that. It's not even close. This is a really low gem rate. But you know what's a lot lower? That 21 that we just looked at with the Chrome Gold. Same thing, if we look at the refractor, check this out. The refractor will be one of the first ones that pops up here. Yes, 351 of them have been graded. That's actually a really small number. It's why I believe personally that Topps had to destroy a whole bunch of these 2009 boxes. I don't think they could get them sold fast enough before they lost their NBA license. That number, with how popular this card is, should be way, way, way higher. It should be way past its actual print run. That's what almost all the other cards of the era have that are significant, is that one. But look at this. Of the 132 graded by PSA, or the 132 times they've graded, they've only graded 29 gems. So interestingly, this gold is far rarer than the regular refractor in Gem 10. Or sorry, far rarer than the regular Chrome Rookie is in Gem 10, and it's even rarer than the Chrome Refractor in Gem 10. When the last time came where this card sold at the same time as a Gem 10 Refractor, this card did not sell for as much. It sold for something like half as much. And that was interesting to me because it's so much rarer in a 10. But it's one of these situations where it's a less rare card, but more rare in a 10. And so you have to figure out what kind of collector you are. Do you want the one that's really like it's super rare in its final state, or do you want the one that's rarer in terms of its print run? And I won't tell you which one's right because people have different feelings about that. Walter Johnson in an 8, Mickey Mantle in a 6 on the 51 Bowman, a PSA 9 of the infamously difficult 1971 Topps Ryan. This is just an impossible card. None graded higher. Definitely check out the Pop Report. I know a lot of people love this set because the edges are so difficult. Okay, then we get to another one of the more interesting cards of the whole night. This Michael Jordan, serial number 23 of 23. I should say hand number 23 of 23. The Ovation. Let's take a look at that. And while that's popping up, we'll scroll down a little bit more. The fact that this is a 9 is the story. A 9 on this card is very, very difficult at this point. And then another one of my favorite autographs of the week. We'll click on that one and come back to it in just a moment. So Michael Jordan autograph. This is a very well-known card. Is the piece of history from Ovation. These Ovation cards were really thick. They're not easy to get a good grade on. A 9 is actually a really strong grade. You can see a little bit of chipping in the edges and corners, but not very much. And on a card like this, that's about as good as you could hope for. Also, it was graded fairly recently, which is interesting. A lot of these types of cards that you see for sale, you've seen for sale a couple of times in the past. This one is very recent. I'll tell you what's interesting here is this one's number 23 out of 23, which may make it one of his best cards, like really from the era as far as like autograph jersey numbered cards. So the reason that I don't get as hyped about hand numbered, serial numbered stuff is because there are copies of cards like this that were saved for later. They were, they were like replacement cards. And then when somebody got their hands on the replacement cards, then they could go and they could hand number it. If you were going to choose to hand number it, how would you hand number it? You would hand number it number 23 of number 23 if you were really a deceitful, awful person who was just trying to trick someone. The question is whether that's original to the card. And if it is, to me, it's just one of the most exceptional MJ cards that you could ever have pop up. Because it's not just that it's like, I think it's actually the very first ball autograph card in Jordan's career. If it's not the first, it's the second. Like there's not, this does not exist. Wait, is it ball? A piece of history was usually ball, but it's not ball. We should just look at it. I thought it was like the black off of like part of the logo on the ball. What is it exactly? Piece of history was often a ball, a game-worn shoe. So instead, what this is one of the very first game-worn shoe cards. Holographics was 99, I believe. And that's, I think, the first shoe. I think this is like the second pack pulled shoe. There's another thing that came out of like a master collection or something like that. It's a shoe card. There's not really a quick way to look that up and verify it. But I like the piece of history. I do. I like it a lot. Here's what I want to do, though. I want to see if we can do some research. You guys might find this interesting. I want to see if we can do some research on this serial number right here. I want to see if it's consistent with what other ones look like. And if it's not, then you can be a judge. But if it looks consistent, then it's sort of like, oh, wow, like, is that actually like, is that legit the real deal, like 23 of 23 copy? Let's see what we can find. So if we go again, this is where Card Ladder is so helpful. If you go to Card Ladder, you go 1999 Ovation piece of history and just search. You're going to get a whole bunch. And then you hit price. Wow, look at that. The most expensive card ever out of 90. Wait, did I say 99 Ovation? Isn't it 2000? Why did I say 99? Sorry, all over the place. Isn't it 2000? I'm trying to figure out why I don't know why I said 99. Sorry, guys. Messed that up. Let's go back here. 2000 Ovation, piece of history. And you can see from looking at the highest ones ever, they're all cards from the set. 3 of the first 4 are Jordan. The card has sold for almost $120,000 back in 2023. But really, you do have to look at the serial number and say, do I really believe that this is original to the card? So here's what this one looks for like. I personally like this one was graded a long time ago because that means it hasn't touched human hands since it's been in that case. And that card was graded, we could look it up, but it was graded a long time ago. So so that's that serial. There's that one. Look at the, let me do this. Open image, new tab. If we do that, I'm not sure if this will work. It might. Oh dear. You know what? That did not really work. Did it pop up anywhere? It didn't. Shoot. Can I make this any bigger? I want you guys to be able to see this so well. Well, it looks like the biggest that my computer will allow is there. So look at that 23 down here. Look at like where the line is and the 10 and everything. Now compare that to this one. Compare that to that. What do you guys think? Look at the handwriting. Put them right next to each other. Look at where the dash is. Look at where the 23 is. I'm not going to tell you I'm perfect at this because I'm not. It looks pretty good. To me, it looks pretty good. The 1-0 in front, the 2-3 in front, they just look similar. They look similar to me, guys. To me, there's no red flags here. And I do think that, especially on a serial numbered copy, you just have to do that. And just be sure that one's from 2023. Let's just see if we can find any others that this one looks pretty similar to me too. This one's graded in the 1-3s. You don't need to look at the autograph, but you can look at the serial number. This one is graded in the 7s. And it looks like the dash on this Kobe gets all the way down to the base of the card the same way that this one does. It's pretty interesting, guys. I always feel nervous that I'll find something bad, and it's happened a lot of times on the show where I see something and I'm like, oh, shoot, this doesn't look the way that it should. It's really good when you get something and you're like, okay, that looks exactly like I wanted it to. And it does. These are all, I think, pretty consistent with this one that we're looking at here. It's really, I think this card's going to suffer a lot because I think the people who are buying, actually, let me look at the autograph real quick. Sorry, let me look at one more thing because the autograph's sort of this sweeping. See how this one's straight? Like, it's interesting. This one's straight. This one's not straight. This one's authentic. This one was sold 3 years ago in an authentic grade with that number 1 of 23 serial. I'm not sure I feel quite as good about that serial, but what this does show, because the Jordan autograph is what it is. He certainly signed all of these at the same time. It is interesting that he signed some straight or like this, and he signed some like, oh, look, here's another one of these. Wow, this one's a lot. Oh no, you know what? The picture was just a little bit off. So, that's the same one. That's the 1 of 23. It was just graded by PSA later. And then there's this that's straight. The one that we're looking at here is like this. It's a little bit diagonal. What color were these other autographs? I can't really see the colors as well on this because of the color scheme, but it seems that one looks like it has some blue in it. Does that one look like it has blue in it to you guys? Look at the best ones. The best ones look like they have blue. I think that one's got blue. The one that's up for tomorrow or this week looks like it may be a little faded. So look at that. That may not be. Maybe I'm wrong though. I could be wrong. Just look real careful at that. You guys know I'm colorblind, so I'm not a perfect judge of this. But the story here, for a card like this to have the 23 of 23 is a pretty big deal. How will collectors respond? I don't know, but it'll be fun to watch on that one for sure. Okay, the next card to look at is the 52 mantle that we talked about. I did a reel on this one already, but I've got to highlight this. I'd never really paid attention to the fact that the facsimile signature on the 1952 Bowman mantle is not the mantle signature that we all know and love. It's really different. And what's cool about that is this collection of the Golden Age collection purports to be autographs really as of the time that the cards came out of the packs. Guy gets the cards out of the packs, puts them into sets, then gets them autographed. That's what he's done here. And what's really cool is like this mantle looks really similar. Look at the way that the L loops with the T, right? Now there's differences for sure. Like this M comes up here and this M comes up here. Neither of them come up, right? They all both sort of like, there's a little bit, you can see just like a little bit, but not like this really strong loopy line thing here at the top of the M's. It looks really similar to this. You might have thought before seeing the signature, like, oh, that's just like Bowman's way of just like putting a fake autograph on there. I don't think so, though. I think that's basically like a true facsimile of his signature at that time. And the fact that it shows that's really cool, because I can tell you, I've seen other copies of this card autographed, and they're never that autograph. They're always the more modern one. Why? Because there's just way more of those. He signed the time he spent spending, sorry, the time he spent signing, he signed his more iconic autograph way more. Like, and you don't know how much. Is it like 100 times? Is it 1,000 times? Is it 50 times? I don't know. What I do know is I've never seen a Mantle autographed 52 that looks like that. It's really cool. Like I genuinely love that because, and I've said this for a long time, I think that as time goes by, people are going to really separate autograph vintage cards based on the type of the autograph. If I was just an investor, that is the sort of thing that I would be really interested in. I have this idea well, first off, I only have so much money. I only have so much money, so I can only buy stuff that I really, really want. But if I didn't have those limits and I just wanted to buy something that I thought that people would really appreciate more and more as the years go by, a card like this one with that autograph, because of that rarity of that autograph, I think that's something that as the years go by, collectors are going to appreciate far more, just far, far more. Okay, so let's come back to the auction. Obviously, a huge Nagurski. I just passed by a Maze 7 and an Aaron 8. You know about all those, The Nagurski, anytime we see it's a big deal. A 3 is actually a really good grade on that card. And in PSA, you don't see a lot, even that high a grade. So you got to check out the autograph on the Jordan here. That's really a big part of the story here. Michael Jordan's autograph through the years, we've seen some changes. And you can see some differences sometimes based on the size of the thing that he's signing. If you haven't seen one of these Nike 1985 cards, they're a lot larger than a regular card. They're significantly larger. And it provided Jordan here with a great spot for that auto. I really don't know if you could hope for a better looking autograph on a better looking piece than this card. Look at that. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen that much detail in a Jordan autograph. Seriously, have you ever seen a Jordan autograph that looks, I mean, that is amazing. And given that it was made in 1985, it begs the question, okay, when was that autograph signed? Now, I'm not smart enough to know that. I don't know that. What I do know is that is an incredibly large, detailed signature of MJ. That is maybe the most iconic sort of logo that we have in all of sports. And when we look at the population of this, you know, we're talking about a card that has been graded only 7 times higher than this one. It's exceptionally rare. It's aesthetically incredible. I don't know what more you want out of a card than this one gives you. As far as rare early Michael Jordans go, you're not going to do better than that one. So in terms of those things, yeah. I have a rule against no oversized cards. This card makes me doubt that very much. I wish I was into autograph variation, and specifically with Jordan, because if I was, this would be something that like I would totally eat up. Because again, that autograph is just, it's incredible. It's really, really incredible. Okay, let's get out of there. Continue to learn to press the control button, Adam. And that's like the 7th time I've said that. I know I'm annoying as all get out. Some more very rare early 70s PSA 9s and 10s. 70 or 33 Gaudy and a 7's always a huge deal. Here's another. Oh, see, this one's going to go underlooked, I think. 30 grand on that. Now, I would say this. I would much rather have the 52 Bowman, but the 53 Topps is a more iconic card. I love the fact that facsimile is on the 52 Bowman. I can't get over it. But this card is a huge card because of that also early autograph. What it also tells us, and this is like a little bit of history here, guys. In 1953, Mantle hadn't switched to signature yet. We know that because this card was made in 53, and there's the old signature again. So cool. The one thing that I wanted to do on this, if I had more time, was see if I could find all of the cards that are from this PMG set that we call the PMG Championship set in basketball. In football, it's just the 98 PMGs. And in baseball, it's actually the first PMGs because they didn't ever do the reds and the greens. But for Barry Sanders, he has a lion on his card. And I did a piece of content recently for another guy who had an animal on his card, and I've seen it. I've seen several of them over the years. I like the animal cards. The base card has Barry with this same lion on it, and so it's not like there's an animal variation. It's just there's only a few cards in the set that have the animal. Basketball has no animals. It's just baseball and football. In fact, I think it's baseball. So very cool piece. A Ryan 10. Anytime you see an original Ryan 10, it's going to be a big deal. A Turkey Red Ty Cobb. These things are huge and so cool. So cool to see those in person. An 8 on the Chamberlain. What is this? Leader Novelty. Oh, this is the 1940 Superman Near set. So number 3 all time on the registry. Only missing 2 cards. My guess is if you added those 2 cards, you're probably not still number 2 or number 1, or I think the person would have done it. Here's that chrome Steph that I was telling you about. I think we looked popped 61, I think is what it was on this 10. Make sure to double check that. But just a really small number for such an important card. That's why even though there's 1,000 of these, almost 999 of these, that's why it's such huge money, man. It checks a lot of boxes. It's, I think at this point, certainly Steph's most iconic image on a card, and people love chrome. I have one of the 4 printing plates of this card, and my printing plate is signed. And if you follow me, you probably have seen me show off that card a few times. It's one of my favorite cards in my whole collection. I know what I paid for it, which is far more than I ever thought I'd pay for a card. I have no idea what it's worth. It could be worth way less than what I paid for it. I just don't know if there's demand out there for a printing plate. But the thing that I just kept going back to when I was buying it was like, I look at this image and just go like, man, like that is the Steph image. It is. And the printing plate was used for all of the different chrome cards. So it was used for this as well as the Superfractor, which I think is likely destroyed. I think the Superfractor will never surface, which is just an incredible shame. I'm reasonably confident that the Superfractor is an 8-figure card. And honestly, like I look at that and compare it to some of the other cards that have sold for a lot, and I think it's got a really good case of being the very best basketball card of all time. And you would say that, Adam, because you have the printing plate, and I get that perspective. You should always think that way. I bought the printing plate because I think that, though. I really do. And so seeing this one, this is the lowest level of the chrome, but there's only 999 that were produced. There's only it's like 600 and something that have been graded by PSA, and there's only 60 something that have ever been graded a 10. It's a big deal card. Big deal card. I said 600 by PSA, 600 by everyone. Only like 300 and something graded by PSA. Okay. Gaudy. Oh, here we go. More from the Golden Age collection. I think, right? Yep, from the Golden Age collection. See, I just love this. It's another one of these, and 55 tops is undefeated. I've always said it. I love the yellow gradient behind. In fact, we'll click on that one. We'll look at that one for a little bit. Love this Johnny Bench. Look at that card. Iconic image. Great catch. Over the shoulder grab. PSA 10 pop 3. 25 grand and up. It's already past that. How high will it go? Christy Mathewson Turkey Red. There's an unsigned, but oh, you know what? No. Duh. It's right along his legs. I just looked up here and it wasn't in the top corner. It's right across MJ. So nearly as high graded. This one's an 8 with an 8 auto. But the autograph's down below on Jordan. What will the difference be between those two? This one is an 8 with an 8 auto. This one up here, sorry, I got to go back to it. This one up here is a 6 with a 9 auto. I think we're going to see the 6 with a 9 auto sell for more. I could be wrong, but I just think that autograph, I think people are going to really like that. But if you want a higher grade card and you want the typical Jordan autograph that you've seen a lot more, this one is currently less money. So that's worth thinking about too. Oh, I love this Mickey Mantle. Look at this card right here. This card is as off-centered as you're ever going to see this card. Yes, there are some that are miscut where you can see, part of the next card next to him. The next card to his, I can't remember if it's his left or his right, is Jackie Robinson, which is amazing. I don't know if he's always right next to him, because isn't Mantle double printed? I think Mantle is double printed. I know he's double printed. I don't know if Jackie's next to him on both. He might be. I should remember that, but I don't. 27 exhibits. Number 2 all time on the registry. Jackie, 19. Oh man, I almost skipped the 1984 set. It's 1984 set complete. 288 cards. I mean, heck, you're getting all 3 Jordans, PSA 4, and authentic, and then the other cards look like they're higher graded. I'll bet not all the cards are graded. Definitely look at that, though. That's very cool. And then this World Series Game 1 ticket from 1919. Very cool. Mantle, authentic, altered mantle. Worth always looking at these, trying to figure out what happened, why it's altered. A Campy auto. Gosh, there cannot be a lot of those. Obviously from the Golden Age collection. Let's take a look at that one. I'm just starting to click on Golden Age stuff now. Oh, is this? I wanted that to be an autograph. Still an 8 on that. It's very cool. A 1. This card unfortunately got some, I would say, water damage, but water damage oftentimes, I think it probably is water damage. Yeah. Sometimes water damage really destroys cards, though. Luckily, that one stayed together. All right. Jordan 9. I think this, unfortunately, this card in this Beckett holder, or this set, in this Beckett holder, the Beckett holder really takes away from it. Might be a situation where you could take this, crack it out, and sell it for a lot more money. It might be. I'm not saying for sure it is, but some people are going to see that and be like, why is that in there? That is the whole set in the bag. Michael Jordan's, what is this actually? USA. Is it the USA set? USA Olympics set. Oh, it's the awards set. 14 cards, near mint. That's the set, though. Who knows what the card's going to grade? Take a real close look at that. Blow it up real big and see what you can find on that. Big Shohei here, Superfractor from 2021. Already at 17 grand. Barry Sanders, one of his rarest parallels in existence. This is the 24 karat gold. Graded a few years ago. It looks like before the Lighthouse holder back in the 2s. Currently at 16,500. Mantle, Gehrig, Johnny Bench. When autographed, very early autographed, Willie Mays, before his autograph really became what it became. So that's a big piece also from the Golden Age collection. Man, the Golden Age collection is like the gift that keeps on giving. A Mikan, one of my favorite cards in one of my favorite cards in terms of the history of sports cards. It's just so rare compared to the other early basketball cards. Like you compare this to the Wilt, I think there's something like 5 times as many Wilts. You compare this to the Russell, it's just so much rarer than the Russell. It might even be more than 5 times. In fact, let's do it. While we're here, let's use gem rate. Let's go to 1948. Bowman, Mikan. 596 graded total across all grades ever. Okay. Compare that to 1957 Russell. So we'll just say 600. 3 times as many Russells. And 1961 Fleer Wilt. Yeah. Almost 6 times as many Wilt Chamberlains. This card is so much rarer than those other 2 original great basketball cards. And in a 5, it's actually a really new grade too. And it's got the gold NBA thing on it. This card's going to sell for a lot, man. That's a big card. Jordan, PSA 10 on the 88s All-Star. Clemente 7. This is going to be a Tiffany. Yep. Tiffany McGuire, PSA 10. There's 2 versions of this notable nicknames. This is the MVP. Really blue autograph on though. I really like that one. Going to start skipping some as we keep going. I love this Jordan autograph. I love it. I love how long ago it was graded. We're going to look at that. And then I have to look at this Clayton Kershaw. I think there's a very good chance that ends up being the highest selling Clayton Kershaw card of all time. Let's keep scrolling down, see if anything else really stands out. But we're going to go take a deep dive on both of those cards. A 33 Ruth and a 2. Oh, this Kobe. This Kobe's so interesting to me. So interesting. And it's going to be a really interesting auction to watch. I'll explain why here in a second. factory sealed box of Bowman's, Topps Chrome. Obviously a huge deal on that card. You wonder what causes greening. Everybody does. I've heard about cards coming out of the packs already green, but I've never seen it myself. I'd love to open this box and see the level of greening in the cards in there. I'd love to do it. On the refractors, non-refractors, see if you can pull an incredible, wouldn't it be incredible if you could pull a Kobe Chrome? Whoa, no way. A second Nolan Ryan Venezuela card in the same auction. That's nuts. There's only, 35 of these? 2 of them are in the same auction. One of the highest graded and one of the lowest graded. I think there's a few authentics. This one's a 1, and it earned that 1, boy. There's a lot of creases in this guy. This one's going to sell for a lot more. But having said that, what makes these cards as wanted as they are is just finding the card. Again, there are more 9s of this card in the regular Topps version than there are Venezuela copies total. Let me say that again. There are more PSA 9 copies of this card, the regular version. There are more PSA 9 copies of the regular version of this card than there are Venezuela copies total. So it's rare to just find the card. It's not just about its condition. It's rare to find the card at all. But the fact that we have 2 of them that we're going to sell at the same time, a 1 and a 5, the 5 being the second highest ever graded, is just nuts. It's so cool. Cool Reggie Jackson autograph right here, PSA 810, one of the more signed copies. Oh my goodness. So somebody's selling their PSA 10 run of Steph Curry's, because we've seen the PSA 10 gold, we've seen the PSA 10 regular rookie, and the PSA 10 gold. The only one, the gold, the chrome, and the regular. What we have not seen is the refractor. The refractor is rarer than all of those, except it is not as rare as the gold. It's not. The gold is rarer. But even this is really rare. In fact, here's something kind of crazy to think about. There are almost as many PSA 10 Jordan 86 Flair cards as there are PSA 10s of this card. And it's not because people aren't grading them, guys. People know at this point what this card's worth, and there's fewer than 400 copies of it in a PSA 10. I don't think we'll ever see them go under 5 figures again. I could be wrong about that. I just don't think so. He's too popular. I think, cards might drop off at some point, and maybe that'll happen, but my guess is that it won't. Big Barry Sanders, the 98 Rubies. That's the second year of serial numbered Rubies cards. Huge Tiger autograph right here. Huge card. From the 2001 Upper Deck, both a PSA 10 with a 10 auto. Yeah, you got to look at that auto and see if you think it deserves a 10. It looks a little bit light to me, but it's got a new grade on it. It looks like it must have just barely stayed on card. It's got a 10 auto. A lot of big stuff. Topps Chrome, 2003 box, huge. Could you pull a $1 million LeBron gold like the one that sold just the other day? It's possible. Very unlikely, but possible. Willie Mays, PSA 8 on the 55. A Kobe, fairly green 1996 Topps Chrome card. Now we're going to dive in. Let's dive into these cards that we've sort of highlighted to look at here. And this will probably be, we'll go back and we'll look at page 2 of the Heritage auction here. And get down into some of the other stuff. Oh, look at, whoa. Oh my. That one stopped me in my tracks, didn't it? What's their estimate on this? Their estimate's going to be low. So we're going to look at this one together. We're going to definitely look at that one together. So that's one of those that every once in a while I'll see a card and I'm like, oh, I don't want anybody to know about that. This happened with the Joel Embiid 2014 or 2015 Logoman auto the other day when I saw it, and I was like, dang, that's going to sell for a lot. And I don't want to talk about it. That's the really, I haven't talked about this a lot, but it's one of the hard things about doing what I do for a living is I have to be intellectually honest. I have to say, this is what I think about this. I really like this. And that means that sometimes I'll see a card that I'll think I really want, but I have to be honest about it. I did the same thing with Heritage a year and a half ago when they had one of the 3 2013 Immaculate LeBron James Logoman cards. I saw it and I was like, man, I want that card. And I talked about it on the show, right? You have to, because otherwise you're not being honest. And then I won it. I won the auction. And I won it for a price that I thought was really good too, actually. I was willing to go like, I can't remember if I was willing to go like 20 grand more or 30 grand more, maybe even more than that. It sold for under 50 grand. And I was just like, that's crazy. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. And I can't believe this is up. I cannot believe this card is at auction right now. I'm fully, completely shocked that this card is at auction right now. All right, we'll get to it in a second. Let's hit these other things first. So, and then maybe we'll come back to the auction, or maybe we'll just close it off with that Kobe. Probably take too much time on these. Okay, so this Jackie is so cool. You'd love it if the beginning of the autograph was nicer. You can see PSA has totally dinged it because Jackie couldn't get his pen going. But I love that, man. I love it. I love it because it's not just about aesthetics. Everybody can see aesthetics, but it tells a story. Jackie's trying to get his pen going, and the thing wouldn't start. And then it keeps going, and then the rest of the card is just, oh my goodness, it's just so phenomenal. The regular autograph or the real hand autograph underneath the facsimile on the beautiful gradient of the 1955 Topps card. 7 auto, 7 card. I'm just in love with it. That's one of my favorite cards of the whole auction. Man, that's a cool piece. Campy. More information. Golden Age. What does this say? This autographed example offers both rarity and legacy. This very good example is period signed. All right. Show us the pop. There can't be very many of these, can there? For Campanella, it's a pop 2 with 0 higher. I was right about that one. Okay, let's click. And I'm not saying the autograph's perfect looking or anything, and Campanella is not the single most collected guy, obviously, from 1952 Topps, but he's pretty high on that list. So, oh, come on. Come on. What are you doing here? Is it because there's a second page? There must be. Camp. There's 3 ever. Holy crap. So this card's been signed 3 times ever, and 2 of them are 3s, and one of them's a 1.5. This is a huge card. It is a huge, huge, huge card. Right across his face. Boom. Here I am. Look at my sweet autograph that I signed in 1952 or 53 or 54 or something silly like that. And now it's here, one of the 3 52 Campy autographs ever. This card's going to sell for so much. We already looked at the Jackie. This Jordan, I mean, after looking at those older Topps cards, it's like hard. I love this though. Like from that long ago, this card was in this holder forever. All 495 subs. The autograph's got to be a 10. It is. That deep gold BGS slab or flip, as we call it. When do you guys think that this one was graded? I'm going to guess this card was graded in 2006. I'm going to guess it was graded 20 years ago. Should we see? I'm probably way off. Let's check. Let's see if I'm anywhere near. So we're going to type in Beckett graded card lookup, and I'm going to type this number in over here. What was my guess? 2006. Let's see if I'm close. 2005 or 2006. I'm going to go with 6. 05875. I'm not perfect at this. This is not something that I feel like I really know a lot about. So, but I got this one right. This was graded. Come on. This was graded in September of 05. I said 06 and then I couched it. I said it might be 05. It's awesome. 70 of them have been graded. I wonder how many times each of them has been graded. I don't know. I bet you there's like 20 different cards that have each been graded an average of 3.5 times. And I'm totally serious about that. These types of cards were graded so much and graded over and over again. But this one was graded so early. Be fun to look at the pop and look at the dates and figure out like, and you can do it if you go through the other way, through the cert number, or through the set, through the pop report tool. Okay, I'll shut up about that one. Is this the best Clayton Kershaw card in the world? I think so. Well, it's debatable. Let's look. So this card right here, with his huge strikeout number, is 3,000 strikeout pants, with the date on here that will confirm that if we use the MLB tool. And if you look back here, we can see the material embedded in this card was worn by Clayton Kershaw on this date, which will be corroborated by this number when joining the 3,000 strikeout club. The signing of all Topps autograph cards is witnessed by a Topps representative to guarantee authenticity. So guys, this isn't just a cool piece of fabric. It is the coolest piece of fabric that you can get off of his, did it say pants? Representative strikeout pants. Yeah, it is the single coolest fabric that you could have gotten off his pants for probably the biggest, most impressive stat of Kershaw's career. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy they made this. This card ought to remind you of another card that came out of Dynasty, and let's go use Card Ladder to see if we can find it. If we just come in here and enter in Dynasty, I've got the hiccups. So that's super helpful when I'm doing a show like this. And then do price. We will see another card from the same set. I think it's the same year too, right? 2024. Or is the other one? Is the Kershaw? I mean, it's like the same card. Okay, so this one's 2025. I'm wrong. I thought they were the same year. You can see they're really, really similar though. So this was $1 million. This is so much cooler than the other one that sold. The one that sold for $3 million is so cool. It's like one of the coolest cards ever. It's the gold logo auto from Shohei, and it's his best card that year. But this is from the game, right? This is from his 50-50 game. This is from the pants. They acquired it, and then they tossed it, and then they cut this thing out. And oh man, it's so flipping cool. So flipping cool. I've gotten totally lost here. Where did I even go? What do I have going on? 2003, we looked at that. For Kershaw, that's the other thing that I wanted to do, because obviously we know about Shohei. The question for Kershaw is, where is this going to fit? Is Clayton Kershaw's highest card ever? Now, what's interesting, we have his red. We do not have his super, but we have his red having sold in 2024. You guys know, like, we're talking about one of the most popular pitchers ever. And certainly in the modern era, like, Clayton Kershaw is sort of like the bar, right? That's why you see in 2024 his red selling for $123,000. That's why you see all of these sells well into the 5 figures. You don't see that for a lot of pitchers. Meanwhile, here you have his card from the biggest game, really, I don't want to say the biggest game of his career, but the biggest sort of individual accomplishment of his career, 3,000 strikeouts. That's where that logo man is from that game. The card's one of one. Topps acquired this specifically to create this card. It's just the perfect Clayton Kershaw card. I think it absolutely has a case. It's his best card. The question is whether you'd rather have this or the Superfractor. Personally, I don't think it's close between this and the red. I would way rather have this card. Some people are like, "You're crazy, Adam. That red was a 6-figure card, and this card is only currently at $13,500. Yeah, I know. I still would rather have this card. Like, I'm just being real. The Superfractor, I think, is close. This card has never sold before, has it? Like, this will be the first time we ever see this card sell. It's huge. Man, there's a lot of 5-figure Kershaws. Have we ever seen a Kershaw logo man sell? Sure we have. Yeah. So here's a logo man. These aren't even real. This isn't even a real card. Kershaw logo man. Let's sort by price. So we have this one, not autographed, we don't have any autographed logo man. And we've got a bunch of fake cards. Sweet. So fake cards and custom cards, and then a couple right at the top that have sold. One sold last year. is it's going to be one of these that's like, I can't see because it's on eBay, but it's going to be one of those that says like game worn, game used on the front, and then the back it'll say this card is not attributable to any specific event, blah, 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 blah. So you've got that, and then you have this. It's one of the biggest Clayton Kershaw cards in the world. And other than his Superfractor rookie, I think this is his best card. But what do I know? The fact that it's from that game is what's so interesting to me. Okay, this Kobe. Why am I making a big deal of a Kobe Bryant, just regular Topps rookie? Well, so what you have to know about Kobe Bryant is this. He has college autographs that were signed in 96. He has a couple of, 96 is his rookie year, 96, 97. And he has press pass and scoreboard autographs from that year. And then he doesn't have any NBA licensed autographs until next year, 97. At 97, he has a couple of co-signers autographs where he is on a card with somebody else. Fine. They're cool. They would be really cool if they were the right players, but they're Karl Malone and like Joe Smith, maybe like John Starks. These guys that don't have any connection to Kobe. That's where Topps missed. Then finally, in 98, he signs a couple of cards individually. He signs for Bowman's Best, and he signs for Topps. Topps came first. His first standalone NBA autograph is the one you're looking at. So why isn't it zillions of dollars? Well, it's not like a super well-made card. He did sign a lot of them, like several hundred. But the real story here is the guide value on this is $5,000 and up. I'll take it. I'll take it. Heritage, give it to me for $500. Guys, it's a Pop 2. It is a Pop 2. It's Kobe Bryant's first solo NBA licensed autograph, and there are 2 in the highest grade. It is not an ultra popular card, again, because there are as many of them as there are. So the high-end guys are never like, I need to get this card. I need to get this card. It's why it doesn't sell for tons and tons of money. It's just not rare enough. You know what does make it rare enough? The fact that it's a Pop 2 and a PSA 10. I have no idea what it was going to sell for. Not a clue. I just don't know how much people are going to go gaga for the super low pop on the super high grade. They could go crazy, crazy, crazy though. This is sort of card that I just like wish that I could have like get a percent if it's sold for over a certain amount, because it's like, I don't know if this is a $50,000 card or a $100,000 card or if it's a $13,000 card. I just don't know. I have no idea. Nobody does. You can check Card Ladder and see what that says as far as comp data does. But even if it's on there, it's like, what if you get a couple people who are really crazy for early Kobe autographs? It's really interesting. And then my favorite card of the auction, well, it's not true because there's some of that stuff in the high end, but my most shocking card to have pop up in the auction. Guys, it's the Kobe Bryant 1998 Sage Master Edition. I'm shocked to see this up. The 1-of-1 Sage Kobe auto. It's a 1-of-1 Kobe autograph from the 90s. It is not NBA licensed. It is on a sticker. It has lots of things that people would say against it. I love how they hid the Lakers with this. Look, they take this great picture of Kobe, and then they have this arm coming across here. Sage was a one autograph per pack product that they started making in 1990. Gosh, I can't believe I don't know this off the top of my head. 7 or 8. I think this is the first year. All right, Beckett, help us out. We're going to go to Beckett real quick. And I think I'm logged in. Good. We're going to go to Beckett, and we're going to go to just the main page. And we're going to type in Sage and see what that gives us. If we type in Sage, and then we do basketball, we're going to get 4,500 results. Thank you, Beckett. This is the, like, with Beckett being acquired by Collectors Universe and PSA, this is the one tool that I'm just like, you can't ever get rid of this, please. The ability to go in and just look at, and it's not perfect. There's issues with it, but like the majority of the cards ever made just this quickly is just incredible. So you go through some Craig Sager stuff early on, and then you get to 1998. Toby Bailey. It's the first year of Sage. And during that year, they made card number 6, which was Kobe. Card number 6 of Kobe, not a huge deal. Card number 6, autograph of Kobe, just not that huge of a deal. You can come to Card Ladder and you can see Sage 1998 Kobe. It's one of the cheapest ones because people do not like sticker autographs, right? You find this one right here. This is awesome. It's a bronze Kobe auto. The autograph's every bit as cool as the autograph on the 1 of 1, right? This one's numbered out of 85. In fact, there's a chance. Sorry, guys. Compare this autograph to. So we got flip. I pulled the wrong thing over. Sorry, guys. Like, you compare this autograph right here to this autograph right here. I'm not sure that this one's not even nicer than this one is. This one's got a little streak on it right here, but it's effectively, look, they're effectively the same card. What makes this unbelievable is that it's the 1 of 1 version. So what we have to look at for Beckett, and I would always recommend you do your own stuff here, is what if we just do Sage and Kobe, hit enter, and then we look at the autographs. There's 17 cards ever. If we click auto, we'll narrow it down to 15. Yay, Adam. We narrowed down 2 of them. We have the regular out of 129, the bronze out of 85, the gold out of 30, the master edition out of 1, the platinum out of 5, which is also huge, the player proof, which is just an autographed, like they probably presented him with a copy or made it non-autographed, the silver out of 50, and that is it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 versions. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if you include the unnumbered one. There's 1 out of 5. Is this card ever sold before? I hate talking about this with you guys because I absolutely want this card. But it is, yeah, it's never sold before. Most interesting card. Yeah, it's going to sell for a lot. It is not going to sell for, what was their estimate? Like $5,000 or $10,000. It's not going to sell for those numbers. Even if it's Sage, it's still a 90s Kobe autograph. It's probably the first Kobe autograph that's a 1 of 1. I think it's the first. It is the first Kobe autograph that's a 1 of 1. I don't even have to think about it. It is 100%. I cannot believe it's at auction, and I don't know if it's going to sell for $20,000 or $15,000 or $100,000. I just don't know. It's cool that we get to see it sell though. It's gonna be fun to watch. And as much as I'd like to buy it, I have another card that I'm buying and I'm in the process of buying right now. That's gonna be crazy expensive. I cannot believe that card is at auction. This whole auction is crazy, but that's the one that just stands out to me as like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this one's up. I'm going to scroll down for another 10 seconds, and then I'm going to end this thing. A 3 on the no name is always cool to see. The first essential credentials, these ones are really low numbered out of 100 and are beautiful in hand. A 9 on the Maravich. Ooh, the gold refractor of Kobe from 09. That's the final year of the chrome refractor. That Kobe is a huge card. My PC is showing with my last couple of minutes talking about all these Kobe cards though, so I'm gonna keep going. A 7.5 on BGS graded on the Steve Young green. I love this Kobe. This is from the first year. See, I keep talking about Kobe. First year National Treasures. The Ollie. Every time we see one of those Ollies, I love seeing them. Wemby Court Kings blank slate. Big deal card. $4,700 is what that one's at right now. Guys, this is an absolutely huge auction. Thank you for downloading today and watching. If you have not already gotten your copy of the 25 in 25 book, I think you will like it. It is a high quality book that I made in combination with both GemRate. I made in combination with GemRate and did the survey in combination with them, partnership with them. It was so much fun. It is, so many people are loving it. Thank you guys for watching today. Thank you for checking it out. Make sure you let Heritage know there's anything where you're like, man, I just love having Adam do this. And again, appreciate Heritage for sponsoring the episode today. I really appreciate it, guys. Enjoy the auction. Let me know if you have any big wins. And until next time, happy collecting.